as part of a brain injury and traumatic birth is fight or flight. So if we were in here and we were in danger, you do not need to fear, because I would know how to save us all. It's exhausting living at that level of vigilance, but it's kind of part of my history. And so there's fight or flight, and then there's freeze. Well, that didn't show up until about 10 years ago. And so I've had to learn to walk twice, once at 3.5, and then after spinal surgery at 10. So a 1.5 year recovery, where my sweet penny took me through again to teach me how to walk all over again. But then I was doing some physical therapy one day, and I was going into the building, and I started to notice that as I would approach the curb, all of a sudden I couldn't walk up it. I had all the ability to walk up it, but my brain just suddenly would not allow it. I was freezing in place. Oh, so freaking maddening. Do you understand how maddening that is? Oh! And by the way, if you're a chronic whiner, victim, complainer, can I just ask you a question? Can you stop? Also, can I ask you another one? Do you have balance? Can most of you get up and walk from here to there and not have to think about it? If so, can you just be grateful for a minute? Can you maybe for a second be grateful that you live in the freest country on the face of the earth? Can you be grateful that you're not hungry? Can you be grateful that you can move? I know some of you are on your phones. I must be really boring. I try to go faster. So, if you're able to function and not have to work really hard, you've been given a lot. So I get tired of hearing people complain about really, really small things. I was adopted at 3.5 by my foster mother's daughter, which made my foster mother Penny my grandmother, who was my absolute heroine. She died 6 years ago. She had cared for 56 foster children as a single woman. And I was one of them. She asked for the drug addicted from the womb and took them through withdrawal. She asked for the most disabled and did miracles with us all. The power of one woman, the power of one person reaches generations. So I began to freeze in place, and then last year I thought, well, this is going downhill. I'm getting real good at sitting in my comfy chair at home when I'm not traveling. This is not good. There are a million ways to quit in life, and it's at my door. What am I going to do about this? So I prayed. I'm like, Jesus, hey, I need a trainer. It's the only way I exercise. I hate exercise, but I'll pay someone to make me exercise. And I need you to pay the bill. Within 24 hours, I met a guy named Eric who I call Coach. And I walk into his office and I say, hey, my name is Gianna. I got cerebral palsy. I was never supposed to get up out of a bed, but I did because of Jesus. I hate exercise, and I got to pay you to make me do it. Does that make me a loser? Also, when can we start? Also, don't talk to me about food, which he did later. He's like, you are eating the calories of a man every day. That is a good friend, to be honest with you, which is what we're lacking in the culture now, because we're so afraid to be honest because we know we will pay a price. Anyway, So I started training with him. Guess what? He happens to be a Christian. He used to be in the Navy. And if you're familiar with the military, he was the one that they would call Doc. He ran the entire physical therapy unit on the base with 2 other men. Is this not an answer to prayer? This is the guy who trains me. So we started 4 hours a week. And I'm like, hey, coach, can we go 6? Hey, coach, can we go 8? Oh, now I'm learning battle ropes and I'm learning how to box. I mean, I can just punch your lights out if I need to. In a very dainty way. But all this to say, I was holding on to his arm to help me balance when I walked into that gym last year. Now we start each 2-hour session. And it's not like, oh, a sweet, you're disabled little session. It's a, I used to be in the Navy and I'm going to kick it. Fill in the blank. For 2 hours. And so now, we run 12 laps to begin, and then we work and work and work. And now my goal is to climb a mountain, most likely in Italy, with possibly with a new acquaintance who is recently disabled. We both might suck at it, but that's fine, because there's nothing wrong with being vulnerable. I think there's a lot of strength in that. I'm just going to try and see what happens. So, my freezing in place has just diminished significantly. I mean, the things I can do I've never done before. It's just unbelievable. I'm just getting better and better and better and better. So what can you do, and where have you quit, and how can you change your life? I mean, nothing is impossible with God.
Right.
And so, I walk with a limp, as you know, although I haven't demonstrated it for you. And I told you that I'm adopted and that my Penny became my grandmother, and she was amazing. And one thing that people ask me all the time is, oh wait, no. Before I get to that, I forgot to say this. You always hear the quality of life. We need to abort the kid because they're going to have a terrible quality of life. Who are you to decide for me what my quality of life is? I'm happier than most of the people I see with every ability in the world. Mm-hmm. What arrogant people don't realize is that you have an incredible quality of life when you need Jesus to move every single minute of your day. He makes you have a pretty fabulous life. So, can you see the arrogance of that thinking? I'm going to determine for you what your quality of life is. What if I enjoy beating the odds? I really do. I am no victim. I know it's trendy to be a victim in America right now. Oh, let's all whine about everything. But it's really annoying. Go to therapy. I did. It really helps. But if you don't think you can do anything in America in 2019, you are living in a prison of your own making. You are enjoying victimhood, and it's a drag. Life is short. You might want to grow up. Also, FYI, life can be difficult. If you haven't learned that already. And you can win. My life is not easy, but I didn't sign up for an easy life. I signed up for an extraordinary one. And an extraordinary one comes with a price that I'm willing to pay. So, people ask me if I've ever met my biological mother. Have you ever met your biological mother? Have you ever met your biological mother? Was it like the Hallmark Channel? I love the Hallmark Channel. I am totally addicted to the cheesiness of the Hallmark Channel. I bought the t-shirt. Because it's like being 5 years old for 2 hours, and it's not all gross and disgusting. So cheesy, but it's so fun. So I was doing an event, and after each event, I greet everyone. And I'll greet everyone here with one exception. If you are sick, please do not race up to me and hug me and like get all in my face and touching my hair and whatever. People love to do that when they are sick. No. I get sick really easy and I gotta travel, so stay away. And if you're saying you're just getting over it, you are lying. You are giving it to everyone. Since I have started making this announcement everywhere I go, my sickness has actually been reduced 80%. So I'm not trying to be snobby or mean. I'm trying to stay healthy so I can keep traveling. Thank you. So I was greeting the healthy people at this particular event, and all of a sudden, this woman comes up and she says, "Hi, I'm your mother."
Oh, wow.
Yeah, congratulations. So, you know, a little intense. And I just went to myself, not out loud, Jesus, 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 help me, Jesus, help me, Jesus. And, because I knew that my battle wasn't against her. And I looked at her and I said, "Ma'am, you must need to know that I'm a Christian and I forgive you. I don't want your forgiveness." Because you see, if she received my forgiveness, she would have to acknowledge what she had done. And that she could not bear. And I looked at her again and I said, "Ma'am, you must need to know that I'm a Christian and I forgive you. I don't want your forgiveness. Your father is this and you are this and you are an embarrassment to this family."
Oh my goodness.
And I looked at her and I knew what I needed to do. And I said, "Ma'am, I'm a Christian and I forgive you. But I will no longer allow you to speak to me in this manner." And I got up and I walked out. I'm not defined by what she says. I'm not defined by what you say. I'm not defined by any of that. I'm defined by one name, Jesus. And there's so much freedom in that. I mean, that's part of the annoyance, I think, within her, was that she had no control. She had no way of finishing me off, so to speak. No way of just retaliating for the fact that I wouldn't die. Because I'm a constant reminder of what she can never forget. But you know, if the abortionist was here right now, I'd tell him I forgave him. I'd ask for his arm to help steady me. Bitterness is a really, really slow way to die while you're alive. And so, I don't want to be that. I want to be sweet. I really, really want to be sweet. And so, I told you I was adopted, and I told you how my biological mother responded. And I tell you that because everyone asks me, but I also tell you for this reason. You may come from a horrendous background with injustice and many, many difficulties, and you don't need to be defined by those things either. You can be free. And I'll say it again, you can only be free by Jesus. So whatever's happened to you, you just tell him about it, and you ask him to save you and help you and free you and forgive you from sin, because we're all sinners. Oh, I know we can't say that on a college campus. We kicked Jesus out a long time ago. Oh, one of those Jesus freaks. You know what? As I told you, I've been through hell. I can take a little bit more. And I had an adopted father who was an amazing architect. He's no longer alive. He was also an amazing alcoholic. I prayed for my parents to divorce. Thank you, Lord. They finally did. He became a Christian 2 days before he died. I was able to lead him to Christ on the phone. He wasn't able to be my dad, but I learned that he adopted me so I could tell him about Jesus. And the Lord would take care of me. I tell you that for this reason. Maybe you didn't have a dad. Maybe he was terrible to you. But women, let me tell you this. You cannot sleep your way, marry your way, or date your way to wholeness. No man can ever give you what your father should have. Mm-hmm. You gotta heal first, and then you date. We don't talk about these things. You see, these are the things that are never mentioned, and these are the things that are eating us up inside. I think this is why people are shooting people. Because the real things are never talked about. Because they're not allowed to be. But you can get away with a lot when you're disabled. You look like a real jackass if you go after a disabled woman. You can laugh. But just to say that to the men too, I don't. Oh, am I supposed to be quiet now?
No.
Okay. I'm almost done though. To the men, I want to just apologize to you on behalf of all the irritating and controlling women in the culture. Because now we hear about toxic masculinity, so basically you are horrible if you are a man at all. Congratulations. You are terrible. Just because you exist. You are instantly a predator. You are awful. Right?
No.
Only the women are wonderful. Right? So we are destroying all the men. That's great. And then we yell about where are all the men. We destroyed them years ago. Dude, I gotta tell you, if you're a passive man though, and you want a real woman, you got a lot of irritated women in your life. A controlling woman wants a passive guy. She can boss him around. But she doesn't respect you, and you know it. So, whatever. You may think I've lost my mind. I don't really care. I'm calling you to be honorable men. And I'm telling you I'm sorry on behalf of all, maybe your angry mother. your angry whoever, your angry ex-girlfriend, whatever, for putting you down. Because you know what? We need you to be men, actually. It takes two people to create a life. You're not made to be passive. You're made to be extraordinary, courageous, and stand up for something and pay a price for something like Braveheart. Like blue war paint on your face. There's a reason everybody loves that movie except for the angry women. Because that is amazingly attractive. Pornography addiction, on the other hand, is not. So just an FYI, that addiction will blind you to seeing women as you actually ought to see us. It really will. You are to be men of honor. Maybe you didn't have a father who was honorable. Well, let me tell you, you could be the first dude in your family line who's actually awesome. You have the capacity to have self-control. You can make a covenant with your eyes. I don't care what you've done, how many women you've used, abused, whatever. If you call on the name of Jesus and you say, I have been a punk, I have been terrible, I need you to forgive me, make me clean, and make me honorable, and I don't know how to do that, He will help you. Amen. You cannot do it by yourself. But we need men of honor in this culture, and I'm here to sit on this campus and call you out on it, because I believe you can be.
Thank you.
I'm not here to expect nothing of the men. Also, women, we hear all this yelling all the time about what victims we are, and we're so oppressed as women all the time just because we're women. Can you tell me what you are not able to do in America as a woman? I can do whatever I dream of doing in this country. So I don't understand this way of thinking. This is why I cannot subscribe to current feminist thinking. Because number one, it seems to require the hatred of men. I love them. I also don't feel superior to men. And I don't feel they are superior to me. I feel different from them, and I love that. And so, I can't be a feminist because I can't be a victim, because to be a feminist, in my view, is that I listen to feminists and they're constantly thinking they're a victim of something every day. Or someone. And I'm like, no, I don't have time for that. I am too empowered for that. How is it empowering to just give myself to whomever and not require a man to fight for me at all? How is that freedom? How is that dignity? How is that valuing myself? So I know it's never said, and I know it's not acceptable, but it's the truth. So, I think that's it for now. Do you have any questions?